The legal team, on behalf of Judges Secretary Andy Swamengo, will not have the right to cross-examine Judge President of South Africa's Eastern Cape Province, Selby Mbenenge, and any witnesses who will be called on his behalf. This comes as the Judicial Service Commission Act and the rules of the tribunal do not accommodate the request from Mengo's legal representatives, which comes as the landmark probe now turning to Mbenenge's version of events. Kenny Mapanga filed this report.
The legal representatives of Judges Secretary Andy Swamengo's bid for the right to cross-examine Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mbenenge and his witnesses could not be accommodated by the Judicial Conduct Tribunal, probing sexual harassment allegations against Mbenenge. Chairperson of the tribunal, retired Judge President Bernard Ngwepe, gave the ruling.
After looking at the Act and the rules, we are of the view that such a right should not be granted. And we say so for certain considerations. Indicating that we strove in the discussion of our exercise in conducting our procedure, we strove to achieve fairness as far as possible.
The tribunal noted, however, that certain considerations have been made in the name of fairness, which includes that Mengo's team will be able to consult with the evidence leader when cross-examination arises. The tribunal moved along swiftly to Mbenenge's first witness to the stand, Judge's Secretary Zintle Ngqayi. Ngqayi gave evidence that runs contrary to Mengo's version of events regarding alleged incidents that took place in the Eastern Cape Division of the High Court. Advocate Griffiths Madonsela SC probed Ngqayi on the allegation that Mengo saw the Judge President hugging the court manager.
Does Ms. Mengo's allegation that she came back to later stage, peeped to the JP's office and saw the JP hugging the court manager, does that allegation have any substance or truth in it, according to you?
Phezu kwale ngcaciso ke ngokugqiba kusinika yona ngokukhumbula kwakho kwenzekayo, ingaba esisityholo aye wasibeka uMiss Mengo sento kokuba waye wayinto ekrobayo kule ofisi kaJP wafika besangana, ingaba ingayinto eyinyani ngokukhumbula kwakho?
Ngokukhumbula kwami ingaba yinto engeyonyani.
According to my recollection, it could be something that is not true.
The tribunal continues with the witness testimony. Kenny Mapanga, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Bringing you the energy, news, and good vibes to kickstart your day. This is Rise and Shine on Channel Africa.
Zimbabwe's Judicial Service Commission has ordered all judges to undergo training. The lessons that will begin this week will be conducted by Zanu PF's Herbert Chitepo School of Ideology. Critics have described this as a new low for the judiciary in the country. Letters to the judges say the training program has been organized by the president and that it was part of a performance review. To discuss this, we're joined by Political Analyst Rejoice Ngwenya. Rejoice, a very good morning to you. Thanks for making time. How are you?
Thank you very much. Good morning.
What do you know about this induction workshop for judges in terms of its aims and objectives?
Well, so far we have received reports, mainly from social media and the media, that a memo was sent to the judges. We assume that it came through the Judicial Service Commission, sent by Chief Justice Luke Malaba, emphasizing the aspect of integrated results-based management performance. Look, all public servants generally go through this process. But when you then include in the program, according to the information that we received, the ZANU-PF principal of Chitepo School of Ideology, that's Ishmael Mada, it automatically creates problems for citizens because it shows that Chief Justice Malaba is now dabbling with politics.
Who will conduct this training under the School of Ideology, and for how long will it take place?
Well, the School of Ideology, as you know, is run by ZANU-PF, and Mada is the chief of staff there. Now, we are told that this training program is going to run for 2 days, which means it's a program that is already pre-planned. They are saying it's going to be run at a hotel, but as I said earlier on, once you start involving Zanu PF operatives like the CIO General Fulton Maguire and of course Guamatanga, then the problem is that it becomes a political ideology training program, and definitely Zimbabweans are against that.
Well, how much can be achieved in 2 days as far as a training program for such an important body, the judiciary, can achieve? Is 2 days enough?
Look, I mean, I've attended tons and tons of ideology training, liberal ideology, and I've done it over a period of 10 years. So I don't understand how such an important program of results-based management, which is generally done by the Public School of Management in Darwindale or in Masasa. So there is absolutely no way you can achieve any effective results over a 2-day period for such an important aspect. And judges themselves should know, because they went to law school for almost like 5-6 years. So I believe that this is just a workshop that is there to produce a few notes and instructions on how the judiciary should respond, should sup up with the executive, and it's totally unacceptable. It's a violation of the constitution, and it's not right that our government is subjecting our independent officials to such a so-called ideology training.
So what does then the Constitution and relevant acts of Zimbabwe provide for in this matter, if it is an abomination of that?
Shockingly, we have subcontracted the independence of judiciary to the judiciary itself. In other words, the Constitution is very clear that the judiciary is an independent arm of state. In other words, when we talk about separation of powers, it is very clear that the judiciary should not be under anybody's direction or control. This is why we have a problem with the chairperson of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, because she's a judge, but she seems to be dabbling in politics. This is why we have a problem as Zimbabweans with the politicized cases that are the judgments that have been done on political cases because of this whole thing. So it's a violation of the Constitution, and the judges are the ones that should be interpreting the law. And I'm afraid Chief Justice Malaba is way out of his line here.
What loopholes could result as government's evaluation of the performance of judges, in your view?
Absolutely, I don't believe that because we have not heard of any research or any results about the quality and of the judgment of our judiciary. So we don't see why the judges are being subjected to this when we have not had a research to find out, because we know that there's been different platforms that have been created for electronic judgment and their recordings and so forth. But particularly in terms of their performance and evaluation, there is not a research that has been done. So we don't understand why the Chief Justice has succumbed to this executive order.
How do you see this impacting public trust on the judiciary? Will it, in your view, the training of judges and intelligence services in terms of how they see the judiciary?
You know what? The horse is long bolted ago, because there is evidence that most of the judgments that have been done have a political tainting. So Chief Justice Malaba himself, he was reappointed by Emerson Mnangagwa well over his retirement age. So that was symbolizing the fact that our judiciary is already under the grip of the executive. So to say that it's going to have an effect on their standing, it's already too late. I think the Judicial Service Commission should reevaluate this whole program to ensure that we still maintain a semblance of confidence in our judiciary system.
Should the performance of, how are the judges reacting to this directive to train? What have they said?
Look, there are so many responses that we have seen in the media where judges have responded anonymously. Of course, we know that they are not going to be able to, but I think it is now up to the Law Society of Zimbabwe to stand this ground to say if it is true that the judges, our members are being subjected to this, they should call for an immediate, inquiry. Because the judges themselves, even if they are commenting negatively about it, I don't think that they are going to come out publicly. So the Law Society of Zimbabwe has a responsibility to ensure that the interests of their members are protected.
Would you say that wanting to remain anonymous in their responses is as a result of feeling intimidated or fearful of the government, or more on reputation upholding?
I think that the judges, unfortunately, have already been compromised. Some of them. We know that they've received loans, they've received grants, and so forth. But I feel that really by remaining anonymous, it shows some kind of weakness and fear. Because if you are a man of the law and the court, you need to exert your independence by coming out clearly and say, we as judges. So we assume that they are indebted, they are beholden to Zanu PF. So the Law Society of Zimbabwe now has a responsibility to take up that voice and be able to amplify their disgust about this new development.
Would you say this move to train the judges also puts in question the institutions under which they qualified into law?
I don't think so. I think our institutions are pretty reputable. You know that most there are a lot of official law officers that are working globally in international organizations. Our university, our article system, everything seems to be highly regarded. So this is just another phase where Zanu PF is trying to desecrate that integrity, because I'm sure they're a bit nervous about what we don't know. But I don't believe that it's a reflection of the quality of the training of our public officers. It's highly regarded, it's international, and I think that it would be fair to credit the institutions. However, we know that Zanu PF has got an objective in terms of trying to influence our judiciary, and that is what is being condemned.
So where to now? What do you think should happen to address the voices of the critics? Do you think the president needs to come out and say something just to clarify and ensure that there is still a public trust in the judiciary of Zimbabwe?
Absolutely. The chairperson, if the chairperson of the Judicial Service Commission, if the Minister of Justice and the president of the Law Society were to make, I'm sure they must make a joint statement to reassure Zimbabweans that this whole facade is just an illusion, and we hope that should be done in as early as possible, because if that is not done, then we can all believe that truly and surely our judiciary is now under the control of the executive, which is not a good thing for constitutionalism.
All right, Rejoice, we'll leave it there for today. Thank you so much for your time again.
Appreciate it.
Rejoice Ngwenya is a political analyst discussing the training of judges that has been ordered or announced by the president in Zimbabwe, and the Judicial Service Commission ordering all judges to undergo training under the Zanu PF's Herbert Chitepo School of Ideology. It's meant to be taken under.